So she started to distance herself, became colder than dry ice, and you switched to the infamous desperate mode, right? Classic move. There you go. Sending message after message. A good morning that's ignored. Are you okay? Echoing into the void. Now you're there, hair standing on end, wondering, what did I do wrong? Let me make it easy for you. The mistake was chasing someone who was already running away. More cliched than this only happens at the end of a bad soap opera. The more you cling, the more she runs. Basic emotional math. Listen up, genius. Insisting, explaining yourself, trying to convince her with a long text. All of that is a one-way ticket to failure. What actually works is silence. That's right. Shut up and disappear off the grid. It's not a tantrum. It's not a childish game. It's art. Silence is the greatest psychological tool you have because it leaves her thinking, what just happened? And look, you stop being the desperate guy in the story and start regaining control. Magic? No. Strategy. Today, I'm going to teach you how to use this strategic silence to turn the game around. Everything broken down step by step because clearly you can't handle it alone. But let me warn you, if you're the type who thinks begging for attention is charming, you can leave right now. This is for those who have the courage to detach and want to reverse the situation. Oh, and before I start, a quick note. This content is here because someone was smart enough to like and subscribe, so do your part too. It's not for me, it's for the algorithm. Hit that like button, subscribe, and while you're at it, drop a thanks in the comments. Help spread this dose of reality to more people who need to wake up. Now enough with the fluff. Let's get straight to the point because your situation is bad enough already. Number 1, why did she distance herself? First, let's tackle the question you're probably asking yourself while crying in the shower. Why did she distance herself? And don't come at me with that tired talk of, oh, she's busy, or it's just in her head. Grow up. Nobody backs off without a reason. Most of the time, she distanced herself because you became the walking cliche of a bland guy. Yeah, I'm talking about you. The good morning princess every day. The one who responded in 2 seconds because you were online. And the always available because, well, you have to please. Congrats. You killed the mystery and buried the emotion. When there's no challenge, you know what's left? Boredom. And what do people do when they get bored? Exactly, they bail. Another reason? You became a fifth-rate possessive detective. There you are, questioning where she is, who she went out with, why she didn't respond. Any resemblance to an emotional leash is no coincidence. And guess what? Nobody likes to feel suffocated. If you're choking her, she did the obvious thing, ran far away. And here comes the classic argument. But I was just showing that I care. Yeah, and you showed it so well it looked like an obsession show. There's a line between interest and clinginess, and you crossed it in reverse gear without even blinking. Now, hold on to this. Maybe, just maybe, you stopped taking care of yourself. Remember the cool, interesting guy with hobbies and friends she knew? Yeah, he took a vacation. In his place appeared someone who revolves 100% around her. Everything you do is for her, with her, about her. You know what that says? You lost your own shine and became an emotional burden. Starting to get it? Great. But the worst thing you can do now is react impulsively. No, we need to talk, or bombarding the poor girl with messages trying to fix the disaster. She asked for space? Then respect it because any attempt to suffocate her now will only push her further away. The lesson here is simple. Calm down. Don't panic. The problem isn't just her distancing herself. It's how you react to it. And this is where your new best friend comes in. The silence strategy. Yes, emptiness is your ally now. Because spoiler alert, nothing bothers her more than the silence of someone who knows their worth. Got why she distanced herself? Great. Now, let's move to the next level. Turning silence into your most lethal weapon. Stay tuned. Number 2, the power of strategic silence. All right, now that you understand why she turned around and left you in the cold, let's get to what really matters. What to do to get out of the emotional pit you've fallen into. The answer is simple but requires you to grow up and stop acting like a desperate guy. 2 magic words: strategic silence. And no, this doesn't mean becoming a ghost out of nowhere or pretending you're the king of disdain. It's much more sophisticated than that. What is strategic silence? Basically, it's about stopping acting like a robot programmed to react to every move she makes. It's about creating a healthy space between you two, but with a purpose, to mess with her head, and in the process, get your life back on track. Because let's be honest, right now, you're looking like a brochure of predictability. Boring, needy, and emotionally dependent. Why does silence work? Silence is a psychological masterpiece. First, because nobody likes emptiness. When you stop sending messages, liking all her photos, and being available like a 24/7 store, you know what happens? She misses it. Suddenly, her safe harbor disappears from the map, and that's uncomfortable. She starts thinking, what's happening? Why did he stop? Is he okay? Does he have someone else? And bingo! Now she's the one mulling over what once seemed guaranteed. Second, silence gives control back to you. Yes, sir. Now you're not chasing her validation anymore. On the contrary, you're creating a distance that forces her to deal with your absence. And don't be fooled. This messes with anyone's head, because humans hate the idea of losing something they considered a sure thing. How to apply silence without looking like an idiot. Now comes the important part. Strategic silence isn't about disappearing without a trace. That only turns you into a vague memory. The trick is to stay present in an enigmatic way. In other words, cut the messages, the likes, and all that obvious availability, but at the same time, give small signs that your life is better than ever. Example: post a photo of yourself smiling with friends, a casual story showing you're living great without her. The idea is to leave a doubt in the air without overdoing it. No long texts or indirect hints, because that ruins the mystery and brings you back to square one. Use silence to focus on yourself, and for the love of everything good in the world, don't use this time just to lie around lamenting. Strategic silence is your chance to rebuild yourself. Take care of your appearance, invest in new hobbies, go out with friends, and most importantly, remember who you were before you became her emotional doormat. The trick of fear of loss. Here comes the cherry on top. When she feels your absence, something called fear of loss kicks in. It's instinctive. Suddenly she realizes that maybe she's lost you for good, and that's unbearable for any ego. Your absence turns into an emotional void that makes her miss you. And there, my friend, the one who was running away starts to wonder why you're no longer chasing her. Silence is not revenge, it's strategy. But let's make something clear. You're not doing this to punish or hurt her. This isn't a Mexican soap opera. You're creating balance and, most importantly, reclaiming your dignity. It's an intelligent move, not a childish tantrum. Now that you've got how strategic silence works, the next step is to apply it with surgical precision, without falling into traps that make you look like a needy kid disguised as a strategist. Oh, and a message for those still in doubt. Stop being trampled like a store doormat. If you're tired of being treated like disposable trash, there's a book in the description that will turn your world upside down. After reading it, you'll learn to be a real challenge, someone any woman respects and values. What are you waiting for? Go now, because this is the last time you'll be kicked around like a nobody. Number 3, how to implement silence without sabotaging everything. It's time to learn how to apply the famous strategic silence without turning this brilliant idea into a comedy of errors. Because, let's be honest, if you mess up, your situation, which is already not great, could sink for good. Take a deep breath and pay attention. First, silence is not childish revenge. Let's put an end to this silly idea that strategic silence is to get back at her or make her suffer. It's not for you to start ignoring her like a moody teenager, because that only makes you look pathetic. The goal here is to reclaim your dignity and create space for her to notice what she's losing, not to turn yourself into an emotionally unstable version of a professional ghoster. Steps to avoid sabotaging everything. Stop chasing her. Yes, now. It's time to retire the unanswered messages and the invitations to talk. If she's already signaled that she wants space, insisting will only confirm to her that you're at the bottom of the needy pit. And you know what's worse? It's an emotional repellent. Don't fool yourself. Whoever chases loses. Always. Forget about her social media. Think with me. What's the point of stalking her stories and liking every post when she's already ignoring you? It only screams, "Look how obsessed I still am with you." Even worse if you have the brilliant idea to send indirect hints. No, dude, you're not a character from a Mexican telenovela. Stop humiliating yourself. The right move here is disappear from her radar. No likes, no views, no comments. Period. Maintain your presence, but with class. Disappear completely? Big mistake. The idea isn't to become an emotional hermit. You need to show up, but in a way that she perceives you're living great without her. Thanks. Post genuine photos, hanging out with friends, enjoying life, achieving something new. Nothing forced, nothing exaggerated. The message has to be clear. I'm fine, with or without you. Invest in yourself. This is the moment to focus on the one who matters most, you. Get a haircut, hit the gym again, learn something new, expand your social circle. When she notices your absence, she needs to find a guy better than the one she left behind. If you come back the same or worse, forget it. You lost and will lose again. Handle casual interactions like an adult. If she messages you or you run into each other, forget the excitement. No responding in the same second or acting like you've won the lottery. Be polite, be calm, but don't give away all your cards. Show that you're okay, but not that available. You know what's more attractive? Mystery. So, keep a bit of that in the air. The big mistake, giving in too soon. The biggest blunder is breaking the silence prematurely. Imagine you've been firm for days and she drops a casual hi. Your instinct will want to respond immediately, full of excitement. But hold on, champ. If she's just testing the waters to see if you're still under her thumb, responding with enthusiasm will only set you back to square one. Wait, analyze, and only respond if it's something truly meaningful. Silence has an expiration date. Lastly, remember, strategic silence isn't eternal. You're not trying to get into the Guinness World Records for disappearing. It's a tool to balance the game, not a method to make a permanent exit. When she finally feels your absence and shows signs that she wants your attention, it's time to decide how you want to act. With the full advantage on your side, of course. Now that you know how to implement silence without tripping over your own feet, the next step is to understand why it works so well psychologically on her. And spoiler, playing with the fear of loss is just the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned. Number 4. Why does silence work psychologically? Now, let's lay it all out about what makes strategic silence such a powerful weapon. It directly messes with the loose threads of the human mind. There's no magic, my friend. It's pure psychological science. When you shut up and distance yourself, her head becomes a real emotional battleground. Activates fear of loss. Humans are wired to hate losing what they already considered a sure thing. That's why, when you stop being her 24/7 customer service, her mental alarm system goes off. Suddenly, she starts realizing that something changed. Before, you were there, always available, always predictable. Now, silence screams. And then comes the discomfort. Did he move on? Does he have someone else? This fear of loss is a powerful trigger, capable of flipping the emotional game. Creates mystery, and mystery is sexy. Predictability is the biggest aphrodisiac. To kill attraction, of course. If she already knew what you were going to say before you even opened your mouth, you became a boring book no one wants to reread. Strategic silence breaks that monotony. You stop being an open book and become an incomplete puzzle. People are naturally attracted to the unknown. Now that you're a mystery, her mind will work on its own to fill in the blanks, forces her to reflect on her own actions. When you stop chasing her, you know what happens? She loses the excuse to blame you for the distancing. Before, it was easy for her to justify, "Oh, he's too clingy, too needy." But now, without you there to annoy her, she needs to deal with the void left behind and, more importantly, with her own decisions. This reflection time is gold because it makes her question, was I the one who messed up? Did he deserve more? And that, my friend, is the first step for her to reconsider. Increases your perceived value. Here's a universal truth. Easy and abundant things lose their value. When you stop being available like free Wi-Fi, something changes in her perception. You're no longer that predictable guy she had on the palm of her hand. Now you're rare. And you know what happens with rare things? People fight for them. Transforms you into a more confident person. Here's the bonus. Strategic silence isn't just about her. It's also about you. This period of distancing gives you space to reconnect with who you really are. Without depending on her validation, you become more confident, more centered, and, consequently, more attractive. In the end, silence works on both sides. It breaks down her emotional defenses while strengthening yours. Why does silence work so well? Because it's not just a tactic. It's a complete repositioning of value, both in her mind and yours. It triggers the fear of loss, rescues the mystery, creates reflection, and, in the process, elevates you to a level she didn't expect. And the best part? It's a method that doesn't require words, just actions, or rather, the lack of them. Now, with this solid psychological foundation, it's time to tie everything together and prepare to use this knowledge on the real battlefield. Spoiler, if you follow it correctly, she'll miss you before she even realizes what's happening. Now you have the complete manual to get out of the emotional doormat position and reclaim what really matters, your dignity. If she distanced herself, it was because something in the dynamic went wrong, and the last thing you should do is chase her like a desperate guy. That only reinforces the image of someone needy and predictable. In other words, the opposite of what she wants. Recapping, discover why she distanced herself. Maybe you became predictable, suffocated her with possessiveness, or simply lost the spark that made you interesting in the first place. Whatever the reason, understanding it is the first step to changing the game. Use strategic silence. It's not a tantrum. It's not revenge. It's giving her space to feel your absence while you regain control of the situation. Silence not only makes her think about you, but also gives you back the power to decide the next move. Implement intelligently. No chasing her or obsessing over her social media. Get off her radar, but stay present in your own life. And of course, show that you're better than ever. Invest in yourself. When she notices your absence, she'll find a renewed and valuable man. Understand why it works. Silence activates the fear of loss, plays with her curiosity, forces reflection on what she lost, and elevates your value. It's basic psychology, but requires patience and self-control to work. Now the ball is in your court. Are you going to stay stuck in the desperation loop, or finally show that you know your worth? Comment below on how you're going to put these strategies into practice, and make sure to subscribe. This isn't just about her. It's about you stopping to accept crumbs and starting to live with self-respect. The choice is yours.